Hello YouTubers, Toby Till here with Rocky Mountain Snow MX. We are here to provide you with all of your snow bike related technical videos and also any parts or accessories you may need for your snow bike. Feel free to give us a call, 720-263-7533. Alright, so we're still working on Walker's bike. We're going to move on to Voyager Pro install while Ty's finishing up the battery. There's a couple things that we are real particular about with Voyager Pro so that they work perfect. Is we use the C3 one-piece top clamps with the C3 heavy-duty amp clamp. Then we put all of that into a billet aluminum cage to protect the Voyager Pro, and we get rid of the garbage mount that they have, and we replace that with an aluminum mount, which all fits in here like so. This, unfortunately, will not work with the Voyager Pro in the C3 top clamp, so we take that hand knob out, throw it away. We grab a Allen head style pan head bolt. And just so you know, 5 by 0.08 by 16 is the correct length panhead bolt to use in this application. This is one thing we do not put Loctite on, so when I say panhead bolt, just an Allen head panhead bolt like so. Put it in the end, because if you don't use a bolt like this, you will have interference with the C3 top clamp. So you always want to use a panhead bolt in here. And see how when it first goes in, you've got plenty of tension room left. So just put it in a couple threads. Give yourself the ability to work that back and forth. Put those two together. You want to use the longer bolts. That come with you want to use the longer bolts that come with the cage, but you want to use the washers that come with the aluminum dock. So you use a little bit of both. The 4 flat washers out of the aluminum dock, the longer bolts that come with the cage, and of course, blue Loctite. Okay, so once we got those, we're just going to drop all 4 of those bolts down into the aluminum dock with the washers on them. That way they ride where they should as we're putting this together.
So this one also goes on?
Don't put any of that on yet, because we got a wire coming from Voyager Pro that goes in there.
Where?
Once we got our bolts in, we're going to set this down. I like having it at eye level so that I can see our bolts going in and starting in the heavy duty amps clamp. all four started, and I can torque these down. Because these are little 4 millimeters, I always like to do in my hand. Ty, go ahead and get the dielectric grease out for me, please. It should be laid out.
There's one here.
Yeah. And then give me a socket that fits this front anti-bolt, please. That one right there. Okay. Voyager Pro and pins, where'd you put the dielectric grease?
It's right here.
No, that's not dielectric grease.
Oh,
Dielectric grease
I did
is
not
the
get
gray tube that's right here. These pins push up and down. You don't ever want them to wear out. That's why you do this bolt and tension and all this good stuff. So you always want to put a good amount of dielectric grease to keep any corrosion from happening here. So I put a nice snail trail of dielectric grease on those pins. Then I can grab my Voyager Pro, put my Voyager Pro into place. When setting the Voyager Pro, the top of the Voyager Pro is where it locks into place. The bottom is where the adjustability comes in. So go in with the Voyager Pro at an angle, setting the top of it in place, and you can pull up on the bottom. Right? Once you think you have it locked in, you pull up on the bottom, make sure that it can't come up. The bottom can still come out because you are not adjusting. So top in, push the bottom down, reach around and grab a hold of the legs sticking out the bottom. Push those legs in. Now you shouldn't be able to lift the Voyager Pro. Once you do that, you can go ahead and take your panhead screw, screw it in until it's snug, and then that is going to put the lock in place. Okay? And you're going to go ahead and tighten it down a decent amount. And now it's locked into place. It doesn't move. You can't lift it up. You can't move it around. That is a perfect install. There's so many guys that miss that part of the install because they don't get those fingers locked into Voyager Pro correctly. Yes, I go ahead and put all the little ones in. No Loctite on those little guys.
Okay.
Nope, not those. Okay.
Oh, these.
Yeah. So put the eyebrows on and those in place. All right, so now we got the Voyager Pro mounted, we got it all in there. This is our wiring to the Voyager Pro. I feed this right up through all of my lines and out the bottom where I want to go. So I'll just kind of get these feeding through, get them all ran up underneath the number plate because that's where I'm going to do all my connections. Basically on a Voyager Pro, we utilize power, tap, and temperature is what we use out of these 4 wires. So one of them will get used. That's mile an hour pickup speed sensor. All right, so now that those are run, the first thing I'm going to do is I'll feed these down into the wiring harness grab down here. If I got too many, I'll use a line clamp, but for this, I'm pretty good. Now, I'm going to start with the power wire. This is my power wire. It's going to run from the battery all the way forward. So, from the battery, I'll follow the same harness that I ran the power for the light. I'll run along the same places with it, feeding it through. The same places so I can zip tie all of it together. I will go ahead and plug it in to the Voyager Pro. You cannot mess up these connectors. Each one has its own home. None of them are the same, so as long as you don't plug any back into themselves, you'll be just fine and can't cross wires or any of that stuff. So I'll give myself a little bit of extra slack on the front end. I always like to have a bundle of wire up here. You never run anything absolutely tight. You run everything a little bit on the loose side. That way, when you crash, you have a problem, whatever, you're not pulling on tight wires. Okay, so these are my battery wires. I've already pulled my connectors. So I use these crimp and heat shrink style connectors. And I'll always, these are little bitty wires on the Voyager Pro, so I'll make sure and strip back another amount. After the solder, I'll double over the wires. Actually, no, I'm going to cut this a little bit too much extra. So let me strip these back to where I have it right. That's going to give me enough room and snag on both ends. Cut those there. And so instead of just putting a single amount of wire up into this connector, I'll actually strip off enough to have double, right? So I'll double it over back on itself and then crimp it and heat shrink it. Once I put the wire in, I'll go ahead and crimp it, pull the wire back out, and if it is crimped correctly, it will pull back out. Obviously, I did not get it in there. Let's try that again. It's kind of a learned art to knowing how much to get in there, how much to crimp. I think Ty probably went through 40 of these connectors until he his bike the first time. Terrible. Trying to get the crimp. But he finally learned it and he got it. All in due time. Right, Ty? Yeah. Alright, so we're crimped. Set there. So when you've done it a gazillion times, you might be able to get it on the second try instead of the 40th.
It's your supply I was going through.
I know. That's okay. It's all part of learning.
I don't get these too tight up here, right?
Nope. Just a little snug. Because they're a little fragile. They'll strip out easy. And they don't ever fall out. I don't understand how everything else on handlebars rattles loose, but those little bitty bolts never rattle out.
I know, no Loctite,
Yep.
no nothing.
Yeah, it's PFM. Pure freaking magic. Come on. What's your high school word for PFM? I know you got one.
You give me a headache.
Is it fire? No. Fire's a rough word. Come on, dude. What's your high school word?
I'm not saying it.
You don't have a high school word for
I'm not
PFM?
saying we don't have it. I'm saying I'm not saying it.
Come on, give it to me. I want to start using it.
No.
I think you're cool.
No, you can't. Mostly because the word isn't cool. It's a stupid word.
So these little wires are a little susceptible to heat. So don't get crazy on your heat shrink. up on the installation of the wires, because you will melt off some of the insulation of the wires if you apply too much heat. So be a little gentle on getting too much heat outside the heat shrink collector. All right, so you can go ahead and put these on the battery now and put your original battery cables back on along with the relay one.
Okay, so
Here you
these
go.
ones.
Grab this red one first. It's nice and hot.
I'm guessing this side is negative.
Black is negative, yes.
And then this one too.
Yep. So you got your power for your relay and your power for your trail tech. You're going to want to put your bolt through the most fragile one first, typically. So I go bolt here, and then there, and then put it on. And I want these run, oh, hang on, take that back off real quick. So I want to bring this one up underneath here and bend to that side. That way it's nice and tucked up underneath and not just exposed. Can you grab that? Perfect. And you can pull some more. I got plenty of room if you need room.
Okay.
All right, so there's power going to Voyager Pro. Let's go ahead and hook up the other good things. We're going to hook up our tack wire. The tack wire is this shielded wire with a red end on it. We're just going to wrap that around a few times, like 10 times, on the spark plug wire. Okay, will you pull this? Go ahead, go ahead and start. Here, I'll do this. Can you pull that spark plug wire off with the spark plug, please?
That one is the one with the.
This right there. Yep. You should be pretty tight. You might not be able to do it with your grab straight.
Rude.
And
Been hitting the gym. I hit the gym. You just have dad strength. That's all you have.
You may look good. You don't have any hands.
That's all I can get over. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. That's a little mean.
Seriously?
It's sure, Dad.
Move your hands. Thank you. Here you go. Yeah, you do that.
Dad strength.
Okay, so I like to use the majority of the red, right? So I'll start with the shield right up next to the spark plug wire, give it 2 wraps, come back on the other side of the shield, capture those. I think they call that kind of a, well, if you were tying them, that'd be a, I think it's a closed hitch or something of that sort. But anyways, just keep wrapping back and forth, come across a few times. Then I'll even come across the main wire, loop it back up underneath, and then start some more wraps.
How tight do these get?
Decently tight. You can feel mine that I did. And then to end, I go back around, up over. Uh-oh.
What do you do?
I brought a red zip tie over and I lost it.
A red zip tie?
Do you see my red zip tie? A little bitty one?
Didn't know we had red zip ties. Yeah, I do see it.
You distracted me. Okay. And then I just zip tie it so that it holds all the wire in there. me give it the last little wiggle, make sure it's on. So I always put my thumb over the top of it, push real hard.
It was my bad. Okay.
If you use your good hand,
That was not
everything,
accessible.
you'd be better.
That was not accessible for my left hand. I had to use my right hand.
Alright, so now I'll go ahead and feed the RPM wire up through the chase, along with all the rest of the wires that I did. And bring it out front. Like so. Okay. There's everything there. We got one last thing in Voyager Pro to hook up, and that is going to be our temperature sensor. And, let's say one last thing. We got two last things. 12 millimeter tie, do we have that out? Yeah. So we're not going to use this hose adapter with the Voyager Pro because we're going to go straight into the thermostat, the C3 thermostat. So we're just going to take this out, hook it up, be ready to put it into the thermostat. We won't hook it up electrically right now because we're going to do the install into the thermostat outside of the bike. Go ahead and put thread tape on that. All right, so I'll go over that in a minute. The communications piece. This is your antenna. It is going to hook up underneath the right-hand side. Oh yeah, we got power on Voyager Pro, look at that, nice job. Voyager Pro is charging. So the right-hand side, there's a little bitty condom boot cover right here. I'm gonna pull that off. We're gonna run this guy through. I believe it's an 8 millimeter. Yep. So we'll run this through from the front up underneath so that it's out of the way of our valve, and hook it up to the bottom of the aluminum dock on the right hand side. And then that actual antenna has a piece of double-sided tape on it. We will double-side tape that to the back of the number plate for the install. Don't get too tight with this, just a little over finger tight. And that's Voyager Pro install. So, as you're going back through the box, don't get worried. You're going to have a crappy plastic dock you're not going to use. You're going to have crappy plastic mounting hardware for the bars you're not going to use. You're going to have another crappy plastic piece you're not going to use. You'll probably end up with an extra power wire harness, a couple of hose clamps, and a hose barb adapter. You'll have another crappy metal handlebar mount you're not going to use. So those are all things that you won't use in the Voyager Pro install, but that's going to be your Voyager Pro install, all set and ready to ride. Now we're going to move to a couple more things on from here and a few more installs.
Hello YouTubers, Toby Till here with Rocky Mountain Snow MX. We are here to provide you with all of your snow bike related technical videos and also any parts or accessories you may need for your snow bike. Feel free to give us a call, 720-263-7533.